Welcome to the 1000th edition of Your Impact Attack. All right, we haven't done 1,000 of these, but they have. But it's still Your Impact Attack, and we are just here to sort of curate that experience for you, the loyal viewer slash listener slash fan slash Hameen Media Group Army slash whoever you are. We are here for that. And who are we? Well, I am Jamie Williams. Some people call me the vet. And with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Brandon, who I'm tagging in right now. Brandon, what's going on?
Not much, man. 1,000 episodes of Impact, regardless of how you might feel about the product or the company itself, that is still a feat that is not a lot of TV shows have done.
That's true. And we've got a very special guest because we couldn't have 1,000 episodes without a very special guest. And all the way from the fictional country slash continent of Australia is the fictional Jimmy T. Hey, Jimmy T from the PWC. What it be?
Well, what's cracking, boys? I'm just happy to be back here while I'm chilling in my AI computer. I mean,
That's
come
right.
on. I don't
That's right.
exist.
You're a
But
program.
I am a program, and I see feast or fired is a bad concept according to me, the AI. That's all I want to say. And shout out to the Bearcats in the chat because Harvey with the Bearcats. Hey, that's getting over, man. The Bearcats and the Crabcats. I'm telling you.
We don't want
That's it.
we don't want that to get over. We don't want that. We want to forget about these things.
Oh,
We
man.
want to forget about these things. But yes, we have some lovely people here with us that we're about to do this show for them, especially for them. So who do we have with us, Brandon, so far as we acknowledge this chat?
Let's see who's hanging with us tonight. We got Buckshot Kid. We got Media M5, Lab Rat, Elizabeth, Steve Eggert, Al Robinson, Javi Uchida, Ben Espinoza. Thank you all for stopping in tonight. Hope you're all having a great night. Much love. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, we got a special crowd. So yeah, we've already mentioned it a bunch of times. We got 1,000 episodes of Impact, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. As you said, there's not many shows that could say that. So that's kind of like, one of the things I thought of when I was actually trying to like comprehend and process that, like, wow, 1,000 episodes, is the fact that we're used to calling these things episodes now, but can you imagine if the NFL or the NBA or whatever said, oh, we've had this many episodes? Like, you can't really how would you feel if they had said something like that? If they just called it episodes and not like games or whatever like that. It's like we really have come to think of these as TV shows, and people are counting on these episodes. Like, we're up to this many. How many times do you hear Michael Cole have to say the longest running episodic television show in history? We have more episodes than Gunsmoke. Okay. But Gunsmoke was a real TV show, but yeah, so what do you guys think about that? Like, the idea of does that contribute to the phoniness of wrestling as perceived by the let's say the non-wrestling fan audience? Brandon, what do you think about it? Or do you just go, oh yeah, 1,000 episodes, it's a TV show, whatever, I don't think about it?
That's kind of a good question because at the same time, it's like, it really depends on how you present it. Like, it could be a TV show, but like a reality TV show about a wrestling company. Like, you could still do it that way.
Okay. I don't know where that would be relevant in this day and age, where you could see a reality show or a docu-series about a wrestling company. Probably nowhere you could see that. Probably not on Netflix. Probably not called Wrestlers.
But there's also a way you can do that in a kayfabe manner, where like but it's completely scripted, but presented like it's a reality show.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Jimmy? Do you think we should bother to count episodes or what? What do you think?
Well, to be honest, it's a testament that they even reached 1,000 episodes. I mean, I wasn't counting, that's for sure. And to be fair, I've been a fan of TNA's, or Impact Wrestling, I guess, whatever you want to call it, from its inception pretty much. But I stopped watching it, obviously, for many years up until this point. But no, look, hats off to him for reaching 1,000. I mean, it's something, but really, I wasn't counting. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, hopefully they can reach another 1,000. But we'll see. I mean, can they? I mean, they are the cockroaches of the professional wrestling game. Can they do it? And on top of that, as far as the reality show goes, they used to have a reality version of their show. What was it called again? Do you boys remember? It would start right after Impact.
Or Reaction.
Oh, that's it. Reaction. That's the one.
I love
that was
that
when
concept.
they tried that. It was cool at first, but it kind of went on the wayside pretty fast though too.
Yeah, it's basically, it seemed like it's a presentation of, okay, like, everything that just happened at the end of the show was real. What would your genuine
Right.
reactions be? Go.
Right, and it was a cool concept at the time for sure. I think another wrestling company tried doing that recently. Oh, AEW. There we go. They tried doing that on HBO Max, whatever it was called, in terms of their documentary shows.
That insider or that behind the scenes show.
Yeah, whatever it was called. I mean, that didn't last long, right? So, I mean,
Shit,
I don't
it
think
wasn't
anyone
even
was
on
watching it.
HBO Max. That was like right after. You just leave it on the channel, and then
Right.
do it. So it's like, man, if you thought this shit was fake, wait till you see how fake it really is.
It's so stupid.
So I don't really, obviously anybody that knows me knows I'm not going to agree with that. I like Buckshot Kid saying if this was AEW, they would say it's our 1,000th episode, but it would really be 658 episodes.
Well, since TK is a big liar, I mean, yeah, they probably would.
Obviously I don't think he was lying. He was probably told something and believed it and hoped it, but that's the thing. You shouldn't. Oh,
At
maybe you
least
just
we're not
shouldn't
Will
get.
Ospreay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you shouldn't get tattoos about it in any case.
Jesus.
If
I feel
you
sorry for
ever weren't sure if that kid was fucking dumb, then now we
That
can
did it.
remove all doubt, and especially the part about him saying how he really didn't want to get a tattoo because his mother hates tattoos.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
hey, look, at least you can laugh about it, right?
He's laughing because it's the insane laugh. It's like the it's like the
I would've
Joker's
lost it,
laugh.
I swear I would have gone up to TK, you lying piece of shit. But thank God I'm
He
not
has nobody to
Ospreay.
blame but himself.
That's
You
true.
shouldn't be doing stupid shit like that. Unless this is not one of those who was it? Idris Enofe, where he gets the fake tattoo and everybody buys it, and Big Ray's still mad about it to this day because he got worked by it and he cusses the kid out every time we do NXT. But
Oh, is that the kid who got the WWE tattoo trying to be a fake thing? Trying to be a fake
yeah,
thing?
yeah, he was trying to get everybody to believe. I think his point was that the dirt sheets report all this stuff and you shouldn't be listening to them. I think that was kind of his.
Which is honestly no different than what the WWE top brass do when they like filter out fake stories to see who the mole is.
Right.
Yeah, but they can never find the real moles, though. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Like Paul Heyman is still
think so?
talking to. Come on.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts were on the whole. On the ongoing debate, especially because of speaking of Al Snow, he and Russo go back and forth on the topic of whether wrestling is a television show, as Vince Russo says, because it has to be for him, otherwise his existence is not justified, or if it's a commercial for the live event, which is what it actually is and what Al Snow says it is. The whole idea is it's a live event business. If you doubt that it's a live event business, I'm sure you're all going on Peacock and watching all your favorite Thunderdome matches and empty arena WrestleManias and all this other stuff because, that was everybody's favorite time in wrestling because it's a TV show, right? So we all enjoy that very much, but regardless, it's an interesting debate when you're talking about, trying to put it in the same league of things like The Simpsons or anything else that have gone on for 30 plus years. and are clearly fictional shows created by teams of people and stuff like that, and not dressed up carnies. So, any other news going on lately? Jimmy, you're a news guy. You like to talk about the current stuff at the top of all your shows. We just had like a very fresh and recent live Monday locker room because Ben was not on this morning, so he probably talked about some things, but I don't know, anything that's on your mind that you'd like to discuss?
Well, I did report some news actually on the PWC discussion group and on Hamid Media discussion group. And group. But apparently Jade Cargill is actually at the Performance Center today, according to PW Insider, which I find interesting. So she's already, I don't know if they're going to try to fast track her and whatnot, but she's there to train. So, I mean, good luck to her. And as far as CM Punk, I heard that he's not going to sue Tony Khan. Whatever that means, I have no idea. So I don't know if that's because, I don't know why. I mean, I'm surprised he would say that. But apparently he's got a 90-day no-compete clause, and that means he won't be making it to Survivor Series. And apparently his non-compete clause comes up in December. But that's just rumor, so I'm not sure. But as far as any more news, I haven't seen anything more significant, man. For some reason, Randy Orton was trending earlier. Not sure why. I guess it's time for him. Oh, I think it's his... Is it 25 years of Randy Orton at this point? Some sort of fucking anniversary, man. But other than that...
We're not quite there yet.
It's not? Is it 20 years? Or we're
I'm pretty sure at this point, it'd probably be technically like 21 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he debuted in 02.
Yeah, they're not going to count before that, so...
True. Well, no one he signed, and he was at OVW, right?
I don't know what the year that was. Nobody does.
True, that's a good point. Yeah, I think that's... Other than that, man, I haven't seen... Oh, well, apparently there's going to be a PLE in my neck of the woods right before or between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Apparently they're going to announce it any day now. And it's going to be in Perth, which is on the west coast of Australia. Could be Elimination Chamber. I have no clue, but there's a new stadium there that holds 70K. It's a nice stadium. And apparently they're going to do a show there. So I'm still contemplating if I should drive there or catch a plane because it takes a while to get there.
Oh. Well, whatever's easiest for you. How about so that 70,000 seat stadium? What do you think? Like, what was that basically built for? Rugby?
Nah, see, not rugby. Australian rules football, as a matter of fact.
Australian rules football.
I'm sorry, it's not rugby.
Pretty much rugby.
And cricket. It's an oval.
And
but it's
and cricket.
I hate cricket, dude. Don't even get me started. Cricket to me is the worst sport on this planet. But Australian rules football is a great sport. As a matter of fact, you guys should check it out. Pat McAfee's a big fan of it too, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually makes a lot of appearances on Australian radio to talk Australian football. It's kind of weird.
All right. So, what do you think? What do you think the figures are going to be? What is Will Ospreay going to have to get tattooed on if he wants to be a part of that show?
I think, well, look, the last PLE they did here, I went to, which was in my neck of the woods, literally in my state, in my city, in Melbourne, which is on the East Coast. But that fits 100,000 people, that stadium. And they announced 72,000. So thank you, Buckshot. Absolutely is spot on. And anyway, yeah, that holds just over 100,000. They announced 72,000. So realistically, it was probably 68, maybe 65,000. So, yeah, I think, but over there, because they've never done anything like that before, every time they've done a pay-per-view or PLE here, it's always been in Melbourne, where I'm from. Never anywhere else. Even TVs, they've been done here for whatever reason. But now they're going to the West Coast. I think it will be pretty packed, dude. I truly think it will get close to a sellout. Absolutely. It's a beautiful stadium, man. It's brand new. It looks nice. It's beautiful weather, but it's the most isolated city in the world, man. That's the only thing, which surprises me because there's no direct flights to get to Perth. You'd have to get off at either Melbourne Airport or Sydney because that's the direct flights from the US, from LAX, and then catch another plane to Perth.
Wow. That's odd. You'd think they'd put like a bigger stadium like that, like in a much more accessible, easier to get to area.
Yeah, I'm surprised too, man. It's a beautiful city, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, it kind of makes it hard for everybody because really, all the real wrestling fans are on the East Coast, man. I'm not saying there isn't any on the West, but I'm just saying the East Coast is where most of the population really live. And on the West, there's just one big state that goes literally from north to south, and then you got Perth in that sort of state. So, look, Perth has become a lot better. The weather's gorgeous. It's always hot pretty much all year round. And I think, look, it's different, that's for sure. But I don't know. It's just weird. I guess the government won out because the government was bidding. When I say the government, I'm talking about the local government. They bidded for this PLE, whatever it's going to be, and they won it. So, and Rhea Ripley is here in Australia too with Buddy Matthews. And I find it funny because she went to an Australian rules football game and she dressed so like underdressed. I mean, she was wearing ripped tracky pants, like tracksuit pants, no makeup. You wouldn't even, you'd know it's her, but she tried to bum herself out so much. Probably not to get recognized, I guess. But
Yeah.
I've noticed she comes back and forth here quite often.
Yeah. Well, home is home.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, well, that should be interesting. So keep your eyes on that for an also. You definitely see that like it's important to be able to do things like that. Obviously, that's one of the reasons why All In was a big deal, regardless of the actual number, because you are already seeing what's happening here in the States. Everybody's seen it. You know, they've seen the act, so take it somewhere else. And you know, historically, TNA would have good successful stuff in the UK as well when they would go over there because they just they don't get a lot of American pro wrestling. Europe has what it has there. You know, whatever promotions they have there, like Rev Pro, whatever, WXW,
ICW.
whatever. Yeah, whatever those things are there, they get that, and that's fine. But when the WWE comes to town, or AEW comes to town, or TNA comes to town, it's a bigger deal because they just haven't had it. Same reason they like, you know, the NFL games or anything else they don't get all the time. I mean, anything you don't get all the time, it feels like more of an event to you. So
Right.
having those events like the Clash at the Castle or, you know, whatever, where you can go and get an audience that follows you on TV but hasn't got a chance to be there, which again, that's more points towards the it's TV is a commercial for live events argument. And that's the sort of the proof right there. That's the whole idea of it.
Absolutely. I just find it really surprising that they would go all the way there. But again, the government's paid the money, so hey, it is what it is. And what did
Well,
Chris
they
Wheeler
know.
say?
We know that Chris Winland says apparently WWE is going to be pushing their Australia more going into the upcoming show. Will Jimmy T be attending any? Okay, so he's a little late. Chris Winland's a little late. He didn't hear you say that you're thinking about it. So
Yeah, I'm definitely
yes.
thinking about it. I actually do want to go just because it's in Perth. It's something different. But yeah, I think I will go, man. I'm just contemplating how much it will cost to get there because it's actually quicker for me to go to New Zealand than to get to Perth. That's how
Jeez.
far it is, man. Yeah.
I can
Legitly.
believe that.
Yeah, it is completely on the other side of the country from where I live, literally. Like literally on the other side. So it's pretty far. So that's why maybe I should catch a plane, but I can see the plane prices going way up. Yeah, what the hell's up with that?
Okay,
With China?
so Chris Winland coming in asking questions. He's coming in hot. What are the odds WWE UFC breaks into China with the Endeavor venture? Well, they do have that. WWE does have that famous wrestler, Zhang Qina, but he could be.
Well, and
he could
also
be a big
Shane
reason.
McMahon's China business connections.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
John Cena
just
can
ta-
speak Chinese.
Yeah. That's what.
So does The Rock. We've seen him do it on TV once.
Really? No, but Cena talks it fluently, legitly.
I can believe Cena does. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, legitly. Whereas, Rock, you'll be like, oh, change out. You'll do some stupid like that, right? So, anyway, I'll better not do it. But you get my drift. Sorry, Vet.
Well, what do you think, Brandon? I mean, that's certainly a possibility.
I could definitely see that happening, and I could see the Endeavor board going above Vince to bring Shane on to make that happen.
To bring Shane on. Oh, well, that reminds me. the door's open for Stephanie to make it a comeback too. By the way,
Yeah, sure it is.
apparently.
I just get sick and tired of hearing people use phrasing like trying to break in. The WWE is gonna try to break into, like that it's some kind of like a safe cracking operation or something. Like we gotta get into China, guys. If I hear one more person say break into the Indian market, like I swear I'm just gonna quit podcasting. Like there is no breaking in. They're already where they're going to be. The reason why people don't break into the market is because China does not have a history of professional wrestling, okay? There are other places in the world that have a history of it. It's basically you have the European area, you have Japan, you have Mexico, and you have the United States. You know, and or you could just say North America, like all of North America, United States, Mexico, Canada, a lot of traditional history of pro wrestling. Europe has lots of tradition of pro wrestling, and Japan has lots of pro wrestling history.
Believe it or not, the original WCW started here in Australia. It was at one point the number 2 promotion in the world, but that's going back in the 60s.
Yes,
and 70s.
yeah. Jim Barnett did a lot of
spot on.
Australia, so
yeah.
so yeah, Australia's big, but really, you guys are just an offshoot of Europe. So let's be real. So we're gonna count you there, regardless. Okay, we don't have to get into a whole history lesson, but
we are on Eurovision after all. If anyone knows what that is, I don't know why, but whatever.
Right. So, but the rest of that whole Southeast Asia and places like, you know, all the former Soviet Union countries and stuff, like, there's just really no pro wrestling in that part of the world. There's never been like a history of it.
It's never been part of their culture.
Yeah, it just hasn't. That's the reason. And it's not like there's none, and they tried to. Like, I know that SEMA with Oriental Wrestling Entertainment has tried to do things there. And I know there's like small Chinese promotions. And I know that China has seen WWE or whatever and had shows from WWE there. It's not like no one's ever been there. But it's just, they just don't have the history of it. So I guess if the question is, are you going to try to start a history of it? Then I don't know. But it's generally, I guess, pro wrestling is not looked upon like it doesn't have like a lot of respect, let's say. No, I mean, the people in that area are pretty much they're very hard edged, you know, like in terms of like their mindset and stuff. People from Russia and people from China are very like serious. Like I think pro wrestling comes off as a little bit ridiculous. Like they don't really understand. They understand real fighting. Yeah, they don't have time for something as frivolous as wrestling in China. You know, that whole continent of Asia there is just it's just not into wrestling. I don't think so. You know, the WWE does have some presence there, but I just don't think it's really that.
Well, the thing is, doesn't China ban everything that's like Western?
Not if it'll make them money.
Yeah, not really. I mean, they just like every other country, they have their level of propaganda that they want people to accept, right? So it depends if it fits into their. So, you know, like if a movie comes out, you know, they may have to censor certain parts of it if the government doesn't want the people to, you know, like a little bit out of touch, right? Because they know that the people can see whatever they really want to see. But
can we get a clash in Beijing?
Yeah, yeah, we can. But are you gonna have to paper that house? Are you gonna have to like do like a 40, 50, 60,000 seat papered house to get people? Is this gonna be like Collision in Korea, like where
That's
you
what
have
I'm saying.
to drag everybody out of their houses and
yeah.
WWE presents the Tiananmen Square Massacre. Yeah, pal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no,
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna get dragged out of our houses pretty soon. But anyway, so to answer your question, we don't know. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Or can we get a Xi Jinping invitational tournament?
I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening.
There's one thing we need. It's more wrestling tournaments. But I mean realistically, that's what they would do. They because again, you would understand that sport format. If wrestling could get to more of like if you could tone down the silliness, I think there's something there, but in the future. But the WWE certainly isn't going to tone down the silliness. So,
Well, funny you bring up the silliness though, Vet, because I watched an old episode of Raw for whatever reason from 2002 last night, and no shit, from start to finish, it felt like a comedy show. I'm not gonna lie, like from start to finish. And I've watched this episode from back then, but comparing it to now, it was literally just comedy all the way through.
yeah, because who was the head writer?
At that time, I think Russo might have come back at that time, dude.
No.
Good work.
For us,
Russo never
Girls,
did any work after he left the first time.
He came back slightly for a short time, but got fired.
He
pretty
came
quick to
he came
Stephanie.
back for a meeting.
Oh well, yeah,
he
whatever
consulted
the
for
case.
a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, and Buckshot, you're right about the censorship. Although they've eased up on the censorship now, man, it's all good.
Yeah.
Nothing's been.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess good works.
Well, you have to be much more strict for a prison colony island. So,
Jesus.
yeah. So, yeah, it was Brian Gewirtz is what I was getting at. I just wanted to see if you guys knew. But it's Brian Gewirtz is, if you remember, everything from that time was just him taking Adam Sandler quotes from movies that he didn't think anybody would know and then putting them in people's promos and shit like that. The whole thing was a joke to him. And that's probably one of the reasons why they leaned into such silliness. And that's why The Rock continues to maintain him as an employee because, he just, I guess he liked doing that. Edge and Christian like doing all that goofy stuff.
No, but everyone was a goof, man. Even the serious guys. It just felt like, and like Elizabeth says, yeah, Heyman was on SmackDown though at the time. This is Raw. Wasn't Jacob Israel even one of the writers at the time?
I don't know.
At one
just
point,
know
I
that
believe
that's-
at one point he was a writer. Yes.
Right, but
I just know that if you were watching in 2002 and you thought, hey, this show has too much silliness on it, it's Brian Gewirtz's fault.
for sure. But
that's
see,
why.
back then, I guess I didn't think of it like that. But just going by it now, just watching back on it, I was like, wow, everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, Booker T was trying to learn Japanese.
'Cause-
Why? I couldn't tell you.
Because that was funny to them. Haha, foreign language. It's so funny. Yeah, other
like,
cultures are funny and stupid. Ha ha ha.
I
Look
remember
how
be-
stupid everyone is.
Apparently, he had a shampoo endorsement in Japan. Great fucking storytelling that is right there.
Yes, it's amazing storytelling. And also back then we didn't know, like we didn't know every single wrestler's business, and we didn't know everything that was backstage. We weren't so concerned with the things like everybody seems to be now. Everybody wants to talk about how many, what the demo is and things like that. We really didn't look at wrestling back then like that. We just
I was
looked at
looking
the
at
show.
the
and-
dirt during that
but-
time.
yeah, but I mean, are you a normal wrestling fan, Jimmy? No, you're not.
Well,
You're
yeah,
obviously
no,
not.
Of course not.
You're not even real. So
I
you were an
don't
AI
exist.
programmed just to be a wrestling.
Dude, the fact that people think Australia doesn't exist legitimately blows my mind.
Yeah.
I kid you
You
not.
can make people believe anything, except
who-
wrestling. You can't make them believe
Well,
wrestling. That would
that's
be the
true.
one thing. Sorry.
Hey, you know
Sorry.
what? There's a lot of scientists now that are actually sort of pushing the wrestling narrative and how it's kind of like, everyday life and politics and shit. I kid you not. Weird.
My brain can't even comprehend how stupid that is right now.
I kid you
just,
not,
I don't
bro.
even want to have that conversation. But yeah, so I don't know. Anything else? Anybody else got anything? Brandon got anything else? Anything catch your eye this week?
Nah, not really.
Did
It's
you
kind
smell
of-
what The
kind
Rock
of-
was cooking?
No, that was a nice little surprise they had on that SmackDown.
Yeah, and it popped a big rating, actually, guys.
Yeah, it almost got into the mid twos.
Well,
It's
yeah,
so
look,
great.
It wasn't big, but it was up 32%. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, The Rock did something. Considering
The
it wasn't
Rock that
advertised,
nobody knew
right?
was
I
going to
mean-
be there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
sure
that's the
that's-
thing. He was on Pat McAfee's podcast, man, beforehand. And what would he be doing in Denver? I mean, to me, that was a giveaway, but that's just me.
Yeah. I know that everybody just watched Pat McAfee's thing and just immediately tuned to SmackDown because they assumed The Rock would be there, and that's why they still couldn't crack a 3. Yeah. Fuck. Anyway, TV ratings. Psh, What does that mean? This is 2023, okay? TV ratings don't mean shit.
Yeah, pal.
Just ask Impact, all right? Which we'll get to.
Wow.
So, but Brandon has a. Do you have any punch ups this week?
I do. I have the one for 831.
Okay, so now if you're not familiar with this segment, what we do here, and Jimmy, I don't know if you've seen this, but what Brandon will do is he will take the previous week's Impact and make some changes that could be beneficial to the overall show. Like, we have many head-shaking moments, but rather than just sit around and do nothing about it and complain, Brandon's taken a proactive approach into like a little bit of nip tuck on these things, and to see if he can, perhaps salvage some of these ideas and turn them into something a little bit more palatable for the audience. So
That sounds interesting, actually. I like the concept.
yes. So now you will see me closing my eyes during this segment, but while the chat sometimes think I'm just going to sleep, in actuality, I am closing my eyes to concentrate and visualize everything that Brandon is saying so that I can better understand it. So don't be fooled by my facial expression during this. All right. I'm well aware, and I continue to make comments throughout. So
That'll be interesting. I'm pumped. Let's do it.
all right, let's get into it.
All right, so this is going to be a touch-up of the August 31st, 2023 edition of Impact Wrestling. Let me go ahead and open it up with our recap catch-up packet. And go to intro and pyro and ballyhoo, and go to the announce table where they go over talk about what's been going on the show recently. And then we open it with an in-ring of Josh Alexander, get his music and entrance. And then what he said to Alex Shelley later in the night, he actually says in this promo before he gets cut off by Steve Macklin. And then Macklin cuts his promo saying what he said in the pre-tape. He says it in front of the crowd and right to Josh. And then Alex Shelley comes out visibly agitated by the fact he gets no music and entrance, whereas Macklin and Josh Alexander did. Shelley suggests that Alexander and Macklin fight to determine number one contender. Santino comes out to make the match for Victory Road. And then everyone heads to the back while a masked man hits the ring and attacks Josh before we go to our first commercial break.
Oh, that masked man is going to be fired immediately. We can't be having people get attacked backstage. So,
Oh, no.
So if I were like co-writing or producing this show here, this is where I would say, okay, let's make sure that Macklin doesn't get a music and entrance. He just needs to just walk out there interrupting. So it seems more spontaneous and everything. Because we're going to see when we start talking about Impact 1000 how ridiculous it is when you hit everybody's music 20 times in a row. Okay? So there you go. There been any moose sighting? Not nearly enough. All right. So that would be my note for that. Oh, and you fire the mask guy.
All right.
And
then we go to our
Brandon.
All right, and then we go to our first commercial break. Come back to backstage where Josh Alexander is getting looked at by trainers while Santino stands by. Alexander is not injured, and they discuss who it might have been, and they suggest somebody from the Scumbags.
Mm-hmm.
We go to our first match, Knockouts Battle Royal for the number one contender.
Oh, wait. For Jimmy, the Scumbags were Bully Ray, Moose, Leo Rush, and Brian Myers.
Oh,
okay,
definitely
so
scumbags.
Yeah,
they were trying to get that name over.
Yeah,
really?
But Bully wanted that. So all right.
So then everybody's already, and then we go to our first match of the Knockout Battle Royal. Everybody's already in the ring, no entrances. And the match goes like it does on the show with Alicia over when she does after she hides under the ring. Then you go to the Jordan Grace package. And then come back to back.
Go to the Jordan Grace package.
And then we go back to backstage where Eddie Edwards and Alicia have the same promo they have on the show, except it comes off a lot more spontaneous, like it's Eddie meeting her backstage, like as she comes through the curtain, and then they cut it into the camera.
Okay, I like that.
And then match number 2, Crazy Steve versus Mike Bailey. and it goes exactly like it does on the show with Black Taurus running out and the whole DQ with the refusing to take the thumbs out of the eyes. And before we go to our second commercial break, come back with the Will Ospreay package. Go to backstage with Moose Myers and Edwards, where they goes just like it does on the show, where they end up kicking Bully out of the group because he basically brought the specter or the shadow of PCO on them. They don't want none of that. So, and he also abandoned them twice to go fight PCO. So like, yeah, we're done. And then we go to match number 3, Khan with Diener versus Eric Young. Khan music and entrance, Eric Young music and entrance. Match goes the same as it does on the show, except a lot more decisively with Eric Young going over because the design is just dead and buried. So let's go ahead and just finish that off.
Just put him out of their misery, right?
And just in case anybody's wondering, because there's a lot of Khans in wrestling, this one is Kon. It's the former Connor from the Ascension. That Khan. It's not like a Tony or a Nick.
Like Constantine.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But with a K.
Right.
Yeah. So he's it's Constantine with a K. So he's from that Russian area, and they don't like pro wrestling. All right, go ahead.
All right, and then we go to a backstage segment with PCO and Bully Ray that goes just like it did on the show with Bully trying to get through to PCO, remind him who he really is. He's not this monster. He's really Carl Ouellette. And you go to a backstage segment with Motor City Machine Guns and Josh Alexander. We're basically like the part where like Josh Alexander says his part to Alex. That part was actually done in the ring earlier. So then now backstage, Shelley says what he needs to say to Josh. And it basically goes from there, same from there. Then we go to our third commercial break. Come back to a backstage promo with Leo Rush that goes the same way as it does on the show. Then we cut to an interview with Deanna and Gia that goes the same way as it does on the show. Match number 4, Chris Sabin versus Zachary Wentz. I forgot to mention, too, during the Motor City Machine Guns Josh Alexander segment, the Rascals show up and they start some shit with the Motor City Machine Guns that gets...
Does it get physical?
Yes. Yeah. It does not. No, it sets up it sets up the Sabin Wentz match.
I was going to say, we're going to have to hand out some firings. I'm not so sure we won't have to suspend Bully and PCO because he traps his arm in that door there. And that's, I think that PCO should fear for his life if he has one.
I don't know. It really, I don't know. I think it really only matters if Scott D'Amore fears for his life.
Good question.
Well, you got to think about all the production people and everybody in the arena. They shouldn't have to come to work to feel like they're in danger, you know?
See, then that match goes like it does on the show with Chris Sabin up. Then we get a pre-tape.
Spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Less than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the same pre-tape with the ABCs that we had on the show. Go to backstage segment with Santino and Subculture that goes like it does on the show to set up Subculture versus Sammy Callahan and Rich Swann.
Right now, Jimmy's brain is like, who?
No. I know who they are, don't worry.
You know who the ABC is.
No, I don't know who ABC is.
Okay.
Who the hell's ABC?
That's Chris Bay and Ace Austin.
Okay.
They're basically they're basically the Impact. They're legit members of the Bullet Club, but they're like the Impact.
Oh yeah,
branch of it.
I knew that actually. Did Ace Austin's a more recent inclusion of the Bullet Club, right?
I want to say earlier this year, like the very beginning of the year.
Is he still
it was during the Super
Junior tournament, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Best of Super Juniors. He joined at the end, I think.
The ABCs. There's a lot of ABCs in the Bullet Clubs, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
There's OCs as well, just quietly. We need to know in this. Just saying. Sorry, Brandon. Continue.
It's all good. And we come back from commercial, go into an in-ring with Kenny King and Sheldon Jean that goes the same way as it does on the show, with Tommy Dreamer showing up and cutting his usual emotional promo where he gets way too personal and real.
So you leave that in, that he gets too personal and real. You're not going to tell him to tone it down.
Oh, I mean, tone it down, but like...
Listen, Dreamer, we're tired of your sensitive bullshit. Now just get to the damn point.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's okay to draw upon and use some examples, but like turning it into a great big sob story, it's like, let's scale that back. Okay, let's see, where are we at? And then we go to match number 5, Jonathan Gresham versus Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid music and entrance, Jonathan Gresham music and entrance. A bad call by the ref leads to Laredo Kid going over. Gresham snaps and turns heel and attacks Laredo Kid after the match.
Oh my God, we got to fire Jonathan Gresham now. Can't do that. I mean, he didn't win fair and square, but he doesn't deserve to fear for his life.
Remember the coughing bit, the coffee.
Sorry.
That's all right.
And then we follow that up with the Awesome Kong package and then a backstage segment with Gail Kim where she cuts a promo saying that she will team with Kong as part of the 5-on-5 Knockouts tag team match at the Impact 1000 episode. And we go backstage where we find Josh Alexander laid out. Somebody finds him and they call for help before we go to our 5th and final commercial break.
Wait, Josh Alexander laid out again?
Damn.
I mean, we only got 2 weeks of the pay-per-view, man.
Oh, so she's lay him out twice? Okay.
Well, it's Josh Alexander. I mean, he's Canadian. Come on.
And he's the walking weapon, too. He's like, come on.
Yeah.
He's Scott D'Amore's boy. You got to do a little bit more than one attack on a show.
Gotcha.
All right, and then we come back from commercial with the New Japan hype package. Then we go to backstage with Josh Alexander and the trainers. Santino enters, and he says the security footage shows it was the same masked man who attacked him earlier. They still don't have any leads.
Damn.
They
Was
cut-
it Rikishi?
Should be easy. Just fire anybody that has a mask. Sorry, Laredo Kid.
No.
And then we go to the announce table where they hype next week's show, run down current Victory Road card, and talk about Alexander's mystery attacker. And then our final match, a 6-man tag, Moose, Myers, and Eddie Edwards against Frankie Kazarian, Jake Something, and Sonata. And the match goes like it does on the show, except this time we have the heels up after Dango and Bravo interfere and attack Jake Something. Because they did that whole teaser. They saw him watching the match and they didn't do anything. Like Chekhov's gun. We got to fire it.
Okay.
Who gets shot? Does anyone get shot?
So then we go off. Yep.
They're getting fired for attacking somebody during a match that they weren't involved in. That's for sure.
And then we go off the air with heels over strong and announcers questioning if one of them is the one attacking Alexander.
Okay. So there you go. A cliffhanger. Are you going to tune in next week to find out who attacked Josh Alexander?
If only we could do some artistic sort of videos like of this happening. It would actually.
Oh yeah,
pretty
this
cool.
the sketches.
Yeah, like a sketch, like South Park sort of sketches, if you know what I mean.
Right.
It would look pretty funny, but anyway.
But yeah, where this is going to end up going, where that's where it's going to end up going was on the next Impact, which was the go home show for Victory Road. Leo Rush would come up to Alexander and say, "It's actually Sabin and Shelley working together, switching the hood around."
Ooh.
They'd initially brush that off because like, oh, you're just trying to start shit and you're trying to get in our heads. Well, that may be his intention. He's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which
See, so it's the Scream thing. There's actually 2 killers. There's 2 ghost faces.
And they're pointing.
Yeah, and they're pointing. That's how we should have known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be, and basically the motivation would be Shelley doesn't want to face Alexander at full strength because he knows he can't beat. He's been beaten by Alexander, but he knows he can beat Macklin, so he's trying to weaken him up for Macklin to hopefully beat him.
All right.
And then it would
I
end
see
up
the logic there.
Yep. And then it would lead to eventually like Leo kind of being a reluctant babyface teaming with Alexander because now they're pissed at him for opening his mouth. So the Shelley and Sabin try to go after him. So Leo and Rush and Alexander find themselves at like, well, we don't like each other. We kind of need each other right now.
Right. A lot of political intrigue. A lot of people that would be fired under my watch.
Does Tommy Jimmy get fired?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. We'll just fire him right away. For not for attacking anybody backstage, but just for crying all the time. Like we don't need this. Like You're bringing everybody's morale down. Get out of here.
And since when did the Digital Media Championship, whatever it was, become a thing?
2 years ago, I believe.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god,
I never
has it
noticed
been
that.
that long already?
Wow. Shit, I never really noticed until Tommy Dreamer. No shit.
And that's something they could have actually done something kind of special and unique with, and they dropped the ball so hard.
But why the Digital Media Championship? What does that even mean?
Basically, it's kind of like TV, like the TV title, but for like online
For YouTube?
content. Like for like
God.
YouTube, Twitter, just their online content.
Okay, I feel
Which
you.
not on paper, not a bad concept or idea, but the execution has to be precise.
Right. Impact can't claim that they're on television, right? So they have to come up with something.
Well, yeah, well, it is Access TV, right? I mean, shit.
Like I said,
Remember that
they
period?
can't
like-
claim they're on television.
Remember that period in between Fox Sports Net and Spike where they aired exclusively like on our website?
On pay-per-view, I think it was like $5 a show to watch it every week before they went on Fox Sports.
That was before.
Yeah,
but
that was the actual pay-per-view era. Yeah, it was like $10 a week for,
Oh, okay,
for a show.
right. That's
Yeah.
it. You're talking about
And-
after that, you mean?
Yeah, and then like they
Okay.
got the Fox Sports Net shows on aired
Right.
like on Friday afternoons, and then they phased out the weekly pay-per-views and went to a monthly pay-per-view format.
I mean, who would be crazy enough to pay for a weekly pay-per-view, man? I know they had no TV yet at the time, but that's just crazy, man.
The way Jeff Jarrett explained it was the mentality was like, okay, like a pay-per-view, like an actual like monthly pay-per-view costs you $40.
Right.
Okay, so let's split that up $10 a week, and we'll do like one a week.
God. I wonder how that worked out, right?
yeah,
thought
no one knows.
At the beginning, they thought they were doing well, but it turned out the dude was intentionally lying to them about the numbers.
By how much? By a lot?
A lot, like to the point where
Wow.
they almost went out of business.
Wow. I mean,
And that was the
who's he
first of
fooling?
many times the TNA almost went out of business.
Man, you just get it. Get it, damn it. Yeah, it'll never die. It just feels like it'll never go away. I mean, at this point.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
does.
It's not going anywhere.
But you got to think, like, back in 2002, if you were to go on your cable box guide and, like, if you go to a pay-per-view channel and you see the letters TNA, you probably think you're ordering a porn and it's only
Oh,
going to cost
100.
you $10. So it's like, oh shit, $10, that's a deal. Most of these things are like 20, 30. So you order it and then you're like, oh, most of these women have clothes on. There's a bunch of guys. Well, I'll try it. I'll try jerking off to it. We'll see. And then,
Right.
A midget, a beaten off in a trash can.
that's right. So
Oh, well, at least there was girls on poles, right, at the time?
yeah,
There were
they had
cage
some of
dancers,
that,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, cage dancers, even worse.
So that's I'm gonna just say that's like an unspoken thing that they probably talked about that they've never talked about because that would be embarrassing to talk about. But they would have to say like, yeah, we have to trick people into thinking they're buying porn on cable to get to watch this.
You know what's funny, Vet? I wouldn't be surprised if that was the actual concept with Jeff Jarrett. I'm telling you, total non-stop ass, pal.
Yeah, and they'll say anything but that, but that's the real
Yeah.
reason.
That was kind of the mentality. That was actually the mentality of the TNA like naming was like, well, all right, it's going to be a very adult oriented. It's going to be on pay-per-view. All right, TNA. And if anybody asks what it means, total nonstop action.
Yep.
Worst name in professional wrestling history, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, obviously they agree because it's not called that today. In our 1000th episode, which we should probably get to. Let's get to the Impact 1000. And I guess next week, 1001, because they taped this, but they're still going to use it for multiple weeks. So, is it always going to be the 1000th episode 3 times, or are they just going to stop talking about it next week? We'll see.
It's episode 1000B.
1000
Oh.
right?
1000
All right.
B.
Yeah, they won't have to worry about the history
two-parter.
of this, like, because it's not going to make it another 1,000. Like,
Well,
yeah,
if you
that
guys
to
know
answer
what
your
the
question
ratings
from
were,
earlier. No,
it
it's
should
still
tell you
not
how
gonna
much
make it.
right. It should tell you what 1000 means to the viewers.
Right. Well, do you know what those ratings were, Jimmy? Do you have those numbers for the people?
It was down from last week.
It was down, and it was only like 100,000 and something.
Well, that's good numbers for them.
My God, I mean, there's YouTube people out there, creators that actually get more viewers. Heck, Stevie Richards gets more viewers for his show right now, dude.
His
Yeah,
Nia
well-
Jax video got more viewers than this show.
Yeah. Well, again, you have to be realistic and fair when you're talking about this. Like, first of all, already, besides everything else we've said and made fun of about this company and its history and everything, like, it has fallen way off. Okay. Then, as Brandon mentioned, they're on Access Television, which I have the largest multimedia provider in the world, and they don't carry Access in my area.
Really?
So I can't watch it legitimately regardless. Okay. So that right there hurts. Then there's the fact that, like, let's face it, whatever 100,000 ratings they do, I say this all the time. When we're whether it doesn't matter if it's Impact or whether it's like Rampage or Collision that also have like numbers in the low 100,000s or whatever. The only people that are actually doing those numbers, it's just old people that have fallen asleep in front of the TV before, after dinner, and when you hear like the ratings breakdown like by the quarter hours of like these shows like Collision, the quarter hour breakdowns, it's not like people are actually paying attention to the show. That's who's waking up from falling asleep and turning the TV off. Like, oh, this is still on, let me turn it off. That's where you're getting your numbers. It's not somebody saying, oh my goodness, I'm not going to watch this match with, El Gringo Loco. It's because it's just people that have fallen asleep in front of the TV, then they woke up, turn it off, and went to bed. That's where the quarter hour breakdowns are coming from these shows. Okay. So don't read too much into TV ratings. More people are watching this stuff on the internet and YouTube. Impact has their own YouTube channel and they have plenty of subscribers, and the people watch pay-per-views on there for like, whatever it costs, part of the Impact Plus app deal or whatever. So more people are watching it. That's why the Digital Media Championship is an apt championship to represent those people. But whoever's watching Impact, it's on the internet. It's not that 100,000 people that fell asleep after dinner. Like they woke up with their face in their, TV dinner tray full of peas and mashed potatoes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh
be
man,
real.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually fell asleep halfway through, and then woke up instead
See?
of turning it off. I'll kid you not, and then rewatched it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then
So,
Raw
that doesn't
started.
count as a view, pal.
God damn it, pal.
Yeah. So that's basically it. The media is offended that I was talking about old people falling asleep in the front of the TV. Well, if the shoe fits. Anyway, the shoe is fit 1,000 times for whatever this company is called these days. And we start off with a very nice, like all kidding aside, a very nice recap showing like a lot of moments, a lot of past wrestlers. When you see it laid out in front of you like that, it's like all these people worked here and you're at the pretty much lowest point you've ever been.
Damn.
That's pretty impressive. It's very impressive.
Very, very impressive. As a matter of fact, it's very impressive that they lost everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I had to laugh at the fact they kept in it. They didn't have anything of Ken Anderson or Pope, but they had a Pac-Man Jones clip in there.
Pac-Man Jones, remember those days? God damn it! With
Wasn't he
R-Truth.
recently arrested or something? So that's very relevant.
Again?
I
Again?
think so. You guys didn't hear about that?
Nope.
No.
Wow.
Really?
Well, you guys need to internet harder then.
I'm gonna go look right now.
Have you guys tried interneting?
Is
You
that
hear
a
about
new
Pac-Man?
concept?
Yeah, I'm
Pac-Man the
pretty sure.
game?
And they said it was no. Mac, mac, mac,
I'm
mac.
joking.
No, they said Adam Jones, former TNA tag team
Oh, yeah.
champion. All
Yeah, I
right,
got it.
go ahead. There's your news. I didn't think we need to cover it because this is kind of a couple weeks ago, but
What do you do?
Let's take a looky.
I liked Pac-Man Jones, just quietly.
you said what? You like
I
him?
actually liked at the time.
He
when
was
it
just
with Truth Machine.
he was just acting erratic and like just like a over the top diva at before a flight took off, like disruptive, and they
So
took
I'm
him
crack,
off.
in other
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, he was just acting nuts.
Man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I said like what was it? Let's see. Mr. Jones was complaining about his USB charger's port not working. He unbuckled his seatbelt. His
God.
behavior caused annoyance and alarm to other passengers. He interrupted flight operations. He was given one last opportunity to settle down, and that after they had taken off, they would address his problems. He remained argumentative. And both flight attendants could smell a strong odor of alcohol on his person. Cops tried to de-escalate. He continued to be argumentative and combative. Documents state that while in the presence of an officer, Jones said, "Wait, I'm going to get you," and that's not a threat; it's a promise.
What's he
And then
gonna
once
do?
he got off
Bubble
the
him up?
plane, yeah, and then he was arrested as soon as he got off the plane.
It's a-
Damn.
That's pretty bad. I mean, over a
So-
USB charger.
This is a TNA champion, guys. You have a little more respect for him than that. Like,
TNA
he got
tag
arrested
team
for
champion.
that. Bully
Total
Ray hit
non-stop assault.
PCO with a car. He didn't get arrested. Come on.
What about
Hit him
jungle?
with a car, set him on fire.
Right.
Yeah. And they're just like, "Hey, Bully, he's still alive. You're not getting out of your match."
Jesus Christ. Wowee, man. I mean,
All right.
geez,
No,
that's a
he
name-
no soul getting hit by a car.
Yeah. Well, he sold it a little while.
For a little bit.
Till
and
the
then-
camera was back on him. Somehow he knew. He knew to sit up when the camera was back there. All right, look. Let's get into this, okay? Because this part. Oh man, this is the best
30
part.
minutes, huh?
Scott D'Amore gets in the ring. So already you're like, well, I think I could probably fall asleep in my mashed potatoes. And then he introduces Gail Kim. And then she pitches to another package about the knockouts here, a much shorter package than the one we got.
Hey,
Yeah.
I said shorter, not, it's not too small, it's too thin.
I mean, knockouts.
Yeah. And then this'll thicken your package. The beautiful people came out. All right.
Oh, boy.
The real ones, not Madison Rain, not the escaped baboon from the zoo, but the actual original beautiful people.
The OGs. Mm-hmm. And package and pigeons were flying everywhere.
Yep, let the pigeons loose. No one was there to say that. The cameraman
Okay.
almost didn't get. Clearly, this cameraman never worked during the beautiful people era because even after Velvet pointed, he still almost didn't make it back around. So, anyway, yeah. So they did stuff, and then the Shantaraj came out. Remember, all these get full music and entrance. Like we had a full beautiful people entrance, which takes like about 3 minutes or whatever, and then so like Gail and Scott are just standing there with their dicks in their hand, and then Jordan Grace comes out. Okay, speaking of that, and then
and you know what? Like and I got thinking too, like the promo that Shaw cut, that would have been perfect for her to cut on the way to the ring with no music. And then once she got to the ring, then you start doing the digs.
Yeah.
Does Jordan Grace have one though in this case?
Well,
Because her voice has gotten a lot deeper since.
Right. It's
Just saying.
There's a lot of jokes that I'm not gonna make here. Let's just leave it up to people's imaginations. Ben Espinosa says, "This was awesome to see. Velvet Sky and Angelina Love are the best. Fun fact, Velvet Sky is from Connecticut, which is very interesting to me." I guess he's insinuating that the WWE is headquartered in Connecticut. But
That's a good insight.
so I guess that is interesting. But I'll also just say that anybody would look at Velvet Sky from there and be like, too old. So, it's very unfortunate. I don't think so. I'd bring Velvet Sky in for anything, but whatever. Yeah, I did love the original Beautiful People. That's why I made sure to make it a point to say it was them and not the fake beautiful person that they added later, which ruined it.
The paper bag gimmick was a great idea. I don't know who came up with that, but that was brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Russo had a lot to do with that, so credit to him and them and everything. I did enjoy that, but we're not getting too much of that. We're getting more of a parade of people with music and entrances, which we're not done. Deonna Purrazzo has to come out too. Okay, so let's get all that in, and then Trinity comes out, and then by the time that Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed come out, it's already 20 minutes into the show. Okay, so we've had is people doing a full entrance and getting to say one thing before someone else's music hits.
I'm pretty sure there's a commercial break in there too.
There was.
Yes, that's my next note. I had that written down here. They go to break in Awesome Kong's entrance.
Oh yeah,
Like
you're right.
in the
you're right.
middle of her entrance, they go to break.
And I was popping for Kong, man, and then I had to do that. That was spot on.
That's a WWE move right there, going to break in the middle of someone's fucking entrance. If you're gonna try to be like them, don't be like them in that way.
Yeah, no, don't.
So we come back from break, and then Saeed's doing a promo, and then she's interrupted by Tasha Steeles, who gets a babyface reaction from everybody, and then proceeds to, in her promo, join the heel team of a 10 woman tag. It's like, I'm back, and I'm gonna kick everybody's ass, and everybody loves me, and I'm with the heels. And then Mickey James comes out, so yet another music and entrance. And she joins the face team. So, we get 30 minutes of women joining teams that it didn't even sound like they started out trying to do this. Like a team for what? Most people in the audience, everybody in the audience is probably like, a team of what? What are you talking about? Because some of them probably can't hear if the announcers are talking about upcoming matches or anything like that. So they're just sitting there seeing this, and it's not even until, I don't even know if anybody even mentioned joining a team before Tasha Steeles did. So
Elizabeth's comment was funny because that's what I was thinking too. I'm not going to lie.
What about her hair going gray as she watched it?
No. She was hallucinating about having a Puerto Rican flag.
Well,
I think she's talking about Steele. I know she's Puerto Rican. Well, yeah, she's Boricua. I haven't seen her in years until this show, man. She
Neither are we.
Good for her age. Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So there you go. I don't know if we needed all of this, but I'll be interested to see how Brandon rewrites it. Brandon, what'd you think of this opening segment? And are you indeed going to do a lot of heavy editing?
Yeah, this is going to need a lot of heavy editing because apparently this segment was sponsored by the Hooks, and they couldn't stop talking about my generation.
Oh, true. They were talking about that too. As a matter of fact, it's good.
Man, the only people that are going to get that reference are watching Access TV on a Thursday night. They probably just fell asleep during a Who concert and left it on for Impact.
But yeah, like it just felt like there was no effort put into like this segment. I was like, all right, you go out there and say like you're the best and you're better than everybody else, and it's your generation. All right, you go out next and do the same thing. You go out next and do the same thing. Like,
yeah, this is weird. Even though it was cool, there was a lot of cool moments.
I mean, yeah, cool seeing Kong, cool seeing Kim, cool seeing the beautiful people. But it's like, and that's how you use them?
Yeah, that is weird, man. Like I said, but why? Like, so wait, what is it? And 8? How many have we
10.
got aside?
5 on 5.
10, 5 on 5. Why? Oh yeah, true. The perfect 10 chicks, but why? Like I said, it's going to be a clusterfuck next week. 100%. And why do we need so many? I mean, whatever, man. I guess
because we got to get everybody a payday, Jimmy. Come on.
Well, I was going to say that if that gets them a payday, then I'm all for it. But come on, man. I mean, this doesn't even make sense. It would have been better if it was a little rumble or something. I mean, why not?
That
That
would have been a way better idea. A knockouts gauntlet for the gold.
Yeah.
I mean if you're going to have everybody's entrance for 30 minutes, you might as well do a rumble.
Yeah. And then they come out every, 2 minutes, I guess. Something like that. I mean, seriously.
Right. And there's the anticipation of, who's it going to be? Is it going to be a current one, or is it going to be like a veteran or somebody that we really want to see?
Actually, as a matter of fact, they should have started this show like that. As a total surprise, you know what I mean? But instead, I thought they were more competent at Impact Wrestling, especially Demore, but maybe he wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably just a matter of course every single day. So,
well,
I mean, so basically that's it. No physicality, so everybody gets to keep their jobs. Then we get, Jimmy, did you have any final thoughts on this 30-minute banger of a hit everybody's music segment?
This is the part where I was starting to fall asleep. I'm not going to lie. But like I said, like I was just saying 2 minutes ago, I was pumped to see Awesome Kong. I mean, we see Mickey James still all the time practically. Not as much, but we still see her. The Beautiful People was another highlight for me. And cool, Gail Kim, I guess. But boy, she's aged, man.
Mm.
And Angelina Love, she looks so much older these days too. At least Velvet Sky though, she still looks pretty good, man. I think she still got something, in my opinion. But everyone else, whatever. I've seen them a million times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, get ready to see him one more time.
Yeah, baby. I'm pumped.
So, speaking of standing around with your dicks in your hand, Santino's backstage with Eric Young and Chris Harris and James Storm.
Wow.
And then Santino makes Shark Boy the deputy director of authority. So give me a shell yeah for that one.
Give me a
Hell
shot,
yeah. Give me some clam juice.
Yeah, we're done with a 30-minute clam juice segment, okay? We already
that
did
would've
that.
been
Heyo.
Yeah. What do you think, Jimmy?
why?
Shark Boy?
You know what, man? I'll never forget that episode where he woke up from a coma and woke up as Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was funny initially. I kind of laughed at that. I mean, it was funny. I know it was wrestle crap, but still it was funny. So seeing Shark Boy again, I got to admit, I gave him a shell, yeah, as soon as I saw him. But Santino is another interesting thing. I mean, I'm just confused. What is this? Is he a cop now? Or is he Detective Morella? What is he?
He's a director of authority.
Oh, DOA? Is that what he is?
Mm-hmm.
And who's Shark Boy now? Is he like a constable?
Well, you know as much as we do because he hasn't been on for however. He's only here because of this special episode.
Oh, wow. It felt special indeed. As a matter of fact, I'll save it for the end of the show. But yeah, it could have been a lot more special. Could have been done a lot better. But whatever, it was funny. I mean, I got to see Swinger tonight too.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, he is around every week. All right. So, Brandon, we got a bunch of guys standing around. It's just like, hey, James Storm, can you show up here and just drink a beer?
Yeah, again, you got James Storm and Chris Harris, and that's what you use them for. It's like a little random backstage segment they have no connection to.
America's Most Wanted, clearly. They were very wanted.
Yep. Very wanted.
Chris Harris, though, looks so whack, though, these days. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, leave him alone. He's been through a lot, all right?
Oh, has he? Okay.
Yes.
Hey, shout out to the Crab Cats with Lab Rat. There we go.
Crab Rat?
We're getting to that point, don't worry. Anyway.
So, Feast or Fired. Jimmy thinks it's a bad concept. So, here we go. We have basically everybody on the roster in this match. And this is some sort of it's like if you combined, if you've never seen a Feast or Fire match, imagine combining a ladder match with a battle royal, and then you basically have your concept. You got to climb one of the 4 poles, get a briefcase. 3 briefcases have a title shot in them, and 1 has your walking papers. So you don't know what you got until you open it. And no one ever has thought to open the briefcase immediately. They always have to wait until like a week later or whatever.
Because it's, what's it called? A cliffhanger vet.
The world only happens on camera.
And all you gotta do is add a stipulation in the match that if you open the briefcase before, the actual unveiling, well, then you're automatically fired, or you lose, or if you get a title shot, you lose what's in it, or something like that.
Yeah, just a one line to explain it, but that's too much to ask. Stop asking them to do stuff, Brandon.
They didn't
please.
even do that though. At least with the Royal Rumble, for example, every year they always explain it to you, even though we all know it, right?
Yep.
Like off by heart,
because
they still explain it.
You have to be
But these
expecting
guys-
new fans. You have to be expecting new fans to be
Right.
watching.
But not these guys, clearly, because after all these years of Feast or Fired, I'm still confused on how the match works. To me, it comes across like Poison Ball or something. Damn it, my
I'm
phone's ringing in
quite
the
sure
background.
that they've probably changed the rules depending on how they felt at the time multiple times. If anybody can confirm whether they've always had the exact same rules for 1,000 episodes, go ahead, but I'm pretty sure they just do whatever they feel like. But in this version of it, you have to get the briefcase down from the pole, and then you have to get to the floor with the briefcase. So whoever has the briefcase on the floor is the owner of that briefcase as far as the match is concerned.
I think that might have been one of the rules going back to the very first one. So I remember like one of the kind of the angles coming out of it was a split of BG James and Kip James, and that started there because Kip James pulled the briefcase down and then threw it to BG on the outside, and ended up being a tag title shot. And he thought, "Oh, I handed it to you, so you're gonna pick me as your partner." Now I'm going with my dad.
With Bullet Bob.
Yep.
R.I.P. to Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, like I said, everybody's in this damn match. I'm not going to go blow by blow of a battle royal, so sorry if you were tuning in for that, which I know you weren't. So I'll just tell you who won whatever case. Chris Bay got case number 3. Crazy Steve got case number 1. Yuya Uemura got case number 4. And because of a Rhino assist, Moose gets case number 2. As whoever had it was speared and it went flying out of the ring. Yeah. Burt Macklin.
So that's how you book Moose, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous, man.
Dude,
who the hell? Oh, sorry,
like
guys.
I can't believe they had Moose bitch out to Crazy Steve in this match.
I can't stand Crazy Steve, Brandon. For years I can't stand him. I don't get this concept. But one thing I do want to ask: who are these? Whatever the hell they're called. Yeah. What the hell is this?
There is some backstory to that. Basically, like, Joe Hendry was the digital media champion, and he kind of struck up a bit of a mutual.
Hendry, right.
Yeah, he had a kind of a friendship, mutual respect thing going on with Yuya, and then Hendry lost the title, and then somehow instead of him getting a straight up 1-on-1 rematch, Yuya ended up getting his way into the match and turned into a 3-way. Some shit went down where they both lost, and it looked like they were going to kind of go in a direction where Hendry's going to turn heel until Yuya suggested, "Hey, what if we form a tag team instead?" And Hendry was like, "All right, I liked it. Let's do it."
That was that. That was
pretty much, yeah.
They do a dance.
Is it like that? I'm doing the Blue Meanie right now, but
yeah, you're doing the Blue Meanie.
Yeah, I've forgotten the dance already.
It's okay. You don't have to remember the dance.
It was weird.
Yeah, so Chris Wheeler says, does Crazy Steve end up getting fired so he can return as Just Steve? No.
He comes back with Joe Legend. It's Just Steve and Just Joe.
Just Joe, yes. That'll be the greatest tag team. That'll get him off of Access TV.
Just a tag team.
Labrat says, 1 year they gave the cases to the ref as soon as they got the case and revealed it later. Right? So there's that. And then he also says Moose and Rhino sounds like a Spider-Man comic, which it does. Yeah, no, I mean, it's anybody's guess what they're going to do with the other briefcases. I know the fired one's going to Yuya because that'll be the reason that he goes back to New Japan or whatever. So,
is he from New Japan?
Yeah, he's on excursion.
Okay.
You don't know Yuya Uemura, Jimmy? Come on, you're slacking on your New Japan.
Of course I know Yuya Uemura. But and Hendry, right? But I was tripping out like they look different in this.
They're unrecognizable, sort of, Jimmy, is what you're saying?
With this Yuya thing, man, I didn't even notice who they were until I realized that one of them's Hendry. And then, like I said, I was falling asleep at this point again. And then woke up during the tag match.
With mashed potatoes on your face and peas.
Close.
Yeah, so like you're a true Access TV viewer. Yeah. Well, what do you think, Brandon? Did the right people get the cases here?
There were actually a couple of different choices you could have went with. I mean, what they're doing with Crazy Steve and the fact he's got a new gimmick and they're pushing him a little bit more made sense for him to get one. Moose obviously needed to get one. Bay was kind of an odd one for me for him to get one. And then who was the other one again? Yuya?
Yeah, he's getting fired.
And then if he's going back to Japan, it makes all the sense for him to get the pink slip.
Yeah. The one guy's going to get fired. The one guy that never attacked anybody backstage.
Well, he doesn't even look happy, to be honest, man. He just looks like, why am I here?
Champion.
Yeah. But how long has he been on excursion with Impact?
At least a year.
Okay. All right. Well, he's definitely getting sent back then.
It feels like forever. It probably has been less than that. I don't know exactly how long, but
they didn't need to send him on excursion, man. I thought he was coming up in New Japan pretty quick too, but
I mean, to be
Whatever.
fair, look at the guys who have like the last guys that they sent over to TNA and where they ended up going. Okada, Sonata.
Don't get me started on Okada, please.
Yeah. Well,
He actually done a promo on Impact saying he's not happy about TNA. He doesn't care about Impact. He hates TNA though. I mean, I get what he's saying though, but still.
yeah, because it's totally different, right? Yeah. So, well, that's basically. I mean, we'll see. This is a nice little entertaining. This is a way to get a bunch of people on screen at once, and it's still a more entertaining way than the first 30 minutes where they did the same thing.
Yeah, and we watched the dude. Yeah, and Brian Meyer straight up got shanked with a fork. No cops.
No.
Didn't RVD get murdered once on Impact Wrestling and he still came back?
Eric Young. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
well, that was all that. Look, all that stuff was
Magic.
way before CM Punk choked out Jack Perry. Okay, so none of that matters.
True. That's a good point.
We're only going forward now that we have our precedent for what can get somebody fired from a wrestling company, like in the middle of their contract like that. So now that we know that, we can go ahead and look at everything else and say, okay, well, if but because the fork was in between the confines of the match that otherwise has no disqualifications, unfortunately, we're going to have to allow the use of fork here in this situation, Brandon. I'm sorry.
Fuck it is.
Yeah. I love it when you make it your gimmick, like a fork. Like you could bring anything. You could have brought a switchblade.
You could have, but instead we got Abdullah the Butcher, it seems.
Yeah, Abdullah the Butcher. And yeah, so that's it. So does anybody have anything else they want to add on Feast or Fire?
I was trying to feast. Instead, I
Fell asleep.
fired myself on my feast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, still just very wacky and confused. I was just watching this thinking, this is weird. Everyone's running around like headless fucking chickens, man. Like, I mean, it was just a weird match, man. And for a 1,000th episode, why do we need a Feast or Fire? Hell, we could have gone more wacky and gone with the King of the Mountain match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
could've.
pretty wacky.
Maybe that's next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
maybe,
next. Yeah,
hopefully.
we're
I
not
bet you
done.
it
We're
is.
not done. This is one set of tapings, right?
Oh,
Not
you know
just
what?
one episode.
No, yeah, Spork. That's a good one, Liz. But one thing that would be funny, imagine and this is so Impact Wrestling to do this. We have a Royal Rumble type concept, except get this, guys. This is something Jeff Jarrett would have came up with. A Royal Rumble that starts on the outside of the ring, and you got to throw them in the ring. I mean,
The reverse battle royal that did
the
happen.
reverse battle. What? It has happened?
That did happen twice.
No, you're
Yep.
kidding me. No,
Nope.
no. You're ribbing me.
Nope.
Here's what probably happened.
I was joking. I was literally
You
joking.
that actually
probably
happened
you
once in
probably
06.
saw the reverse battle royal 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and then you completely blocked it out of your memory and thought you invented it just now.
I thought I invented it, but boy.
It legit happened. Like it started out with everybody on the ring, and then once what it is, like they had to they all started on the outside of the ring, and then they had to basically fight their way in, and then once got down to 10, and once 10 guys got into the ring, then it turned into an over the top battle royal until they were 2 left, and then it turned into a regular match.
God damn it, man. And this was 15 years ago? I should have remembered this.
Yeah, I think it was 06, and they did it again in 07.
06. I was watching it in 06 and 07, funny enough. Well, yeah, it must be what Vet said. I must have just blocked it out of my brain.
Ever since the beginning of Keeping It 100 with Conan, they have argued over whose fault the reverse battle royal was, with most people blaming Disco Inferno, him blaming Pat Kenny, and several other people have been implicated. But everyone agrees it was the worst idea ever. So there you go.
Who would come up with something silly like that, man? Seriously. Was it Glenn Gilberti?
Someone. He denies it, but
At the end of the day, Jeff Jarrett
Bullshit.
signed off on it.
That's true.
right.
That's true. Because ain't he great?
oh, Jimmy, a lot of chatter. All right, Sabins with Gia, no music underneath. He says Leo Rush is a bad guy.
The baddest.
It's in his fucking video says bad child. He's the bad child, Leo Rush. So pretty smart of Chris Sabin to be able to read. I'm glad somebody can read. But he also says he's been the champ too long. So apparently in Impact, a 6-week title reign or whatever is way too long, and you got to be stopped, right? So we got to get the belt back where it belongs on, Goldberg 98. So next we get the Desi Hit Squad in the ring. Rohit Raju is back from betting on himself. And then we introduce their opponents, which is Team 3D with the returning Devon. Brother Devon is here. He's here. Brother Devon is here. He's here.
I don't know who wrote the line for Rohit Raju to say like no tag teams given more to the impact than us. It's like, bro, I can name about 5 off the top of my head.
I know.
Well, that's
you know what?
That's the perfect thing for him to say though, because
I had the opportunity to interview Rajid, but I didn't actually go with it for some reason. I mean, what am I going to say?
He probably wanted to bet on himself and go with a better interviewer or a less known interviewer in this case.
This is when I was starting, like literally, it was about 3 years ago. I was starting podcasting and I had the chance to do it, but I didn't go along with it for some reason. Maybe I should have, but really, I mean, he's going to be always an Impact guy, man. I can't see him ever going anywhere else. Was
the reason that you had a virus in your programming as an AI, and that's why you weren't able to secure the
honestly, to be honest, because I didn't know too much about him at that time, I thought, nah, it's not going to really work out. I wasn't really that interested to interview him, to be fair.
We know why you didn't interview him, Jimmy. It was because he's Indian. We know that. It's okay. You don't have to... you don't have to make any excuses. The point is, so Devon comes out. He's blown up by the time he does his entrance. He's leaning on the ropes, gassed out. That's fine. He comes in. He narrowly avoids tripping over these guys, even though that's exactly what it was. Like, they were slightly out of position on the double clothesline. He almost fell. But other than that, you get everything that you wanted from... It's like a caricature of Team 3D came out, and they did their thing, which is like it's at the same time comfort food and also like comfort food, slightly sad. So yeah, Jimmy, were you happy to see the return of Team 3D?
Whatever, I guess. Yeah, Devon was on, right? I mean, look, Devon was on. Yeah, look, it was cool, I guess. I mean, but these guys are way past safe at this point. Devon shouldn't even wrestle at this point, really.
I was surprised.
Got something, I guess, to give. It just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, I was surprised to even see him in the ring at all after that, like last surgery he had. I thought he was completely done after that.
Me too. He said himself he was going to be done. But
this is just a one-time thing. Though. You can get in there one time, right?
I guess. I mean, why
Especially
not?
since the WWE ain't going to give your kids jobs, so you don't have to pretend that you like everybody there and keep working there, right? So
let's be honest. These kids kind of look weird now.
With
their weight.
I'm just saying. So, yeah, there it is. Nostalgia Act. Brandon, nostalgia?
I was mainly kind of shocked how we were like, hold on, we're supposed to all of a sudden root for Bully Ray.
Yep.
After we saw the last 2 months him straight up legit try to murder a man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's pro wrestling 2023.
Yep.
Where's the neuralizer, Brandon? Here it is. Boom. Forget that even happened.
Hypnotize you. Neuralize you.
Oh, there you go. All Look, he's forgotten.
Yep. Already forgotten. Well, he's not going to forget this. The Rascals are eating food in the hallway, and
my God.
Josh Alexander punks them out and continues on his way to the ring. Jimmy, you already reacted to that. This is the best reaction we've got all night.
Bro. This irked me bad. First of all, so I guess when someone's just kicking back, eating pizza, trouble appears, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't just chill and eat pizza and not say a word. I mean, come on, man. Why are the Rascals eating pizza in the hallway? Especially these two look like they don't even touch pizza, let's be honest. I mean, do they look like they eat pizza?
It's a cheat day.
I see.
Yeah. And if you notice, there was a lot of like plastic trays out there too that were already empty. So it's like they were down to the pizza. They had already eaten a bunch of other stuff. Anything could have been in those muffins, perhaps.
I was gonna say that. They looked high as fuck.
They probably got some of the top shelf stuff.
Mindy's. Think they got some Mindy's?
Yeah.
Imported?
I mean, where's the treehouse? Like
Mindy's
Buckshot
edibles.
said. Hey, yeah. Punk endorses him.
So
Just
definitely
saying, he loves them.
definitely the munchies here, and Josh Alexander's not having any of it. He's probably very straight edge, so he goes in there and he's just like, "We got a problem," and then they don't have a problem.
Well,
For
I'm
real,
just
straight
eating
up,
pizza. What's the problem?
like legit, the Rascals have the sound of the bong hit in their entrance theme.
I mean, I didn't mind the original version of the Rascals, right? But since we got Trey Miguel now with the Rascals, I mean, did they really have a bong at the start
Yes,
of the
like
song? I don't remember.
when they're or this new variant or this like when it's
Okay, alright.
this new version of like they're
The old
their-
one didn't. I could have sworn it didn't.
Yeah, their new theme song opens up like you hear a lighter flick and then you hear the
Oh boy, that's money right there. Can't we just call them the little fucking junkies or something?
We could,
I mean, why the Rascals?
because that's what they were before.
Aren't they friggin' adults?
I mean,
dude. They
Some
even like
might argue.
you saw the Little Rascals 1993 movie, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
They do this. This is actually one of their taunts.
Whoa. That's gonna get me. I'm tired. So they literally do this.
right,
Yes.
right.
Soon they're gonna dad block this too. I mean,
maybe.
come on, man. This is nah. I mean,
Well,
the
they're
Rascals
just
are
trying to-
great as a team, but other than that,
Yeah,
They're-
that was
they're-
cool. The 70s show Smoke Circle, that was pretty cool. That worked right. That worked
Yeah,
right.
yeah, blatantly ripping off exactly somebody else's thing. Yes, it's very cool. That's what wrestling does. Now, the other thing is when they're blatantly ripping off something that, it's, you say it's from a 1993 movie, but I'm sure they're doing it to appeal to the Access TV audience who remembers like the 1950s or whatever, Little Rascals.
or should we say the 1940s? Get it?
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Josh goes to the ring, and then he starts talking about Alex Shelley, and Alex Shelley comes out in PCO's coat back when it was new.
Oh boy.
Dude, I gotta say, like, to dress like this, Brandon was made fun of him for looking like a Reservoir Dogs bank robber, But seriously, like, you actually went out on it, and this is some sort of a monumental episode, and you actually went out in public looking like that. I have dress shirts in my closet that cost more than his entire outfit. So just looking like a bum, not great. But anyway, the Rascals attack, and then both guys have to pretend that they can't see it coming because one guy jumps either side of the other guy, so that means that both guys could have seen the other guy coming, but because there's a tight shot on the camera, that means nobody can see anything. It's the magic of television,
Yeah,
or
that
excuse me,
annoyed
digital media. Yes, Jimmy?
That actually annoyed me, especially when I was standing in the ring too, like right in the corner.
Oh yeah, it's
was
again
annoying.
another WWE production maneuver. You shoot everything tight so that you can't see the edges of the screen, even though there's an entire 360-degree arena full of people that can see everything, and so can the wrestler. But whatever, it's just he's obviously watching the monitors too, right? So he can't see why he's about to get jumped by the two guys that were eating pizza.
And with where they end up going with that, with Alex Shelley like basically bailing and letting him get beat down. You could have had it set up where where like Alexander was facing or he was facing the entranceway. They run in through the back, jump him, and Shelley's like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
Right, but instead he gets beat up and then says, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I only got beat up a little, so I'm getting off easy.
Right.
That's just how he says. So.
Don't want no trouble, man.
Like you said, Shelley leaves Josh Alexander to his fate, which is of course wrestling moves. So we got to fire the Rascals. This was none of
Outta
their
here.
business. They endangered everyone's lives. I was afraid for everyone's life.
I was definitely afraid.
Yep. I mean,
Big time.
even Alex Shelley, who pussed out with his cheap ass clothes, still he should be afraid for his life, and he was because he bailed. So. Jimmy's lighting looks
Huge
better than
fan
Impact's lighting.
of Impact.
Don't worry, we're not.
My lights are on.
We're just about to get there. All right. So anyway, do you guys have anything to say about this Josh Alexander and Alex Shelley promo? Brandon, I'll ask you first. What do you think?
I'm sad they're finally leaning into it and making Alex like the clear-cut heel because he's just been ever since he really became the champion. He's just been an like his character and portrayal on TV has been this insufferable, self-righteous, head up his own ass douchebag.
Yes, but against other people who are supposed to probably be heels.
Let's see. There was I know he wrestled Tanahashi, and
there was no build for that though.
Yeah, right. And Nick Aldis was supposed to be the heel, but everything he said was right, and then Shelley was a total asshole to him too.
Right. So we were confused about that.
What a prick. That's all I got to say. He looked like the transporter. I mean, seriously, what was he transporting the belt just for another week? Or how long has he even had the championship for?
Weeks. More weeks.
So he's
I don't know how many weeks exactly.
He's definitely the transporter. I mean, come on, man. And Josh Alexander, I mean, hey. He's top 10.
He's top 10
exactly.
PWI, buddy.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say the same thing. I am fucking with the weapon, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he'll punk you out in the hallway. So keep your pizza.
Yeah. Don't eat pizza around Josh Alexander, peeps.
Get your pizza out of his way.
I'm telling you, man.
All right.
Yeah, see, I'm confused with this feud. Why do they hate each other, first of all? Because I haven't even watched it, so
they don't. And if you listen to what the funny thing about what Brandon said about him being an insufferable douchebag with his head up his own ass is that's clearly what he's being here.
Right.
And he shouldn't be because that's not really his character. But Josh Alexander is trying to babyface him, and he's still disrespecting him back. Like it does. He's like, yeah, man, you've done all these things. You're really great. I grew up with you. He's like, you're a mark for me. And he's just like, I mean, is that how you treat everybody? It makes no sense for your character.
You know what else didn't make sense? Oh no, continue, Vet.
Well, I was going to say, because like we're talking about, I think in his mind, what he thinks he's doing is trying to help get Josh Alexander over because, you know, a lot of the criticism on Josh Alexander is that he's kind of bland. I mean, I'm sure everybody's leveled that. Everybody.
Owen, he wasn't bland.
Yeah, look, if you want to hear an argument about who's bland or whatever, then go listen to the Monday Night Machismo on the PWC, okay? We don't need to rehash that conversation here. But, you know, that's one of the criticisms that's been leveled against Josh Alexander or whatever. So I bet in Alex Shelley's mind, he's thinking, okay, well, I got to make sure nobody's cheering for me in this. We want Josh Alexander to be the guy, unquestioned. I got to make him seem like he thinks he's doing the thing where he's making somebody, which again is like, if that's what he's thinking, that's the most egotistical thing. Like to think that anything that comes out of your dumbass mouth with your terrible promos is going to make anybody anything is delusional at best. So,
wow. If that's the case, man, that's awful. I'm telling you now, because I don't know why Josh Alexander's playing daddy, like you said. He's pretty much trying to babyface Shelley, but Shelley, man, I couldn't take anyone serious in this program at all.
Okay, good. So there you go. You have a wrestling fan who knows all these people involved, who's tuning in for the first time and is completely confused about what's going on, which is exactly the goal that every wrestling promotion should have, right?
Oh, well, it seems like it. At least with WWE, you don't even have to watch it for a long time and still know what's going on. If that makes any sense. Yeah, I literally...
Well, yeah, because you're going to get 10 recaps. So
right, exactly. But in Impact, you get weird matches and reverse battle royals, which is still tripping me out. And all sorts of weird shit. But whatever, Shelley's a draw. Big time.
100%.
Huge.
Well, you know he's the most influential wrestler of the past 20 years, and everybody's only successful because of Alex Shelley, at least according to Alex Shelley. Yeah. And other people who have said that in you know, maybe that was paid endorsements but maybe that's why he couldn't afford a good suit, because he paid everybody else to say how influential he was in public. I don't know.
It's a positive that he's been in the company longer than Alexander has. I mean, they were arguing over that, right?
Right.
I've been here longer than you.
with some hiatuses. Right.
Wow. Yeah. Right.
All right. Shark Boy puts Trey in a match against Josh next week. For over the pizza incident, and then
That's it. I'm
and
down
then
from Sharky.
Santino puts Kenny King in a match against Eric Young next week. And Shark Boy also wants his own badge. So this was a segment where you see the definite return. You couldn't have a 1,000th episode without the lights. The lights in the background are back. They're in full force here. The ugliest yellowish green light you've ever seen, and this thing that looks like it's that red that's not quite fire engine red and not quite pink, but it's just there. Those two colors really go together. It's like a cherry limeade wall that they're standing in front of.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
This company's weird, man. I thought
that's the picture I posted in Twitter earlier, where it was, Sheldon Jean pointing, or Kenny King, one of them was pointing and saying, accusing Santino perhaps of bringing the lights back. So we did well with turning off the lights for a while, Jimmy, but here they came. They're back.
in full force.
Full force. Yep. Which definitely still means weak, but full force for them.
But you know what? Boy, what's happened to Kenny King, man? What the hell are they doing with him these days? I used to like Kenny King. Now I just feel sorry for him.
Well, he lost to Tommy Dreamer for the Digital Media Championship.
That's a huge loss, man. I mean, literally.
That's
I
right.
mean, come on, man.
Nothing says
Seriously.
digital media like Tommy Dreamer.
Well, does he still do his podcast, actually, Vet?
On Bust Open, I think he does.
No,
Does he?
but his own one, the House of Hardcore, whatever.
Oh, I don't know.
He used to do that, but I don't know if he still
He
does.
was only canceled for a little while. He's back now. He's uncanceled.
He's uncancelled. He's not part of the Cult of Cabanas.
No.
Damn. He might as well be. Shit. And just quality, Tommy, don't wear Terry Funk friggin' pants ever again.
He's
please.
got to, Jimmy. He's got to. It was his hero, and he's gonna cry. He's gonna cry if he can't wear them and tie the drawstring while he's supposed to be selling in his match with Kenny King. I know you didn't see that, right? I didn't. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't see. I know you didn't see that because you're a normal person who doesn't really watch Impact pay-per-views. So, but after Kenny King hit him with a dive on the outside, Tommy Dreamer was on the floor selling it, but his pants were falling down. So he just instead of selling, he was like, the camera had him, and he's like tying the drawstring on his pants while he's like,
Trying to sell.
yeah, terrible. Exposing the business. Should have lost it. He put his career on the line. I wish he would have lost, but unfortunately.
Anything to be somebody in production be like, yeah, don't get that shot. Go to something else.
You think, right? But no. Everyone wants to get themselves over still. Yeah. Weird stuff, man.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on Shark Boy possibly getting a badge?
Oh, shell, yeah.
All right.
Oh, shell, yeah.
There you go.
Exactly. I'm shelling.
All right.
Not for Shelly, though.
Not Alex Shelley.
Nah. And his weird suit.
All right. Next, we have Fat Eddie and Thin Lishy versus In Shape Kaz and Tracy. Tracy, in case you were wondering, has suspenders for her tights, but she wears them
always had
down.
that, right?
So
Right, yeah.
I think this is kind of called back to the Miss Brooks character when she was managing
it was.
Bobby Roode.
that's
It
fine.
was. 50-year-old version.
I'm just letting you know, in case you didn't watch, that she doesn't wear her suspenders up. She wears them down. They're just decorative suspenders, So hopefully her pants won't fall down and she'll have to adjust them while selling. But yeah. So she beats Lish and is announced for the Hall of Fame at Bound for Glory. Congratulations, Tracy Brooks.
Did you see those crocodile tears?
I'm actually
I was
really
probably
glad.
not paying attention, actually. I probably just ignored this.
I'm actually really glad they included like the Asylum days footage in there to like kind of explain like, oh wow, she has been there since the beginning and she
really has.
really did kind of kickstart the Knockouts division.
I liked Tracy Brooks back in the day, man. You know what I mean? One thing I did notice, her body's still banging, but damn, she's aged a lot since I've seen her.
Dude, remember our first Trinity?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, why doesn't she ever get mentioned?
That's what I mean. This company likes to thank and bring back whoever they please. I mean, yeah, I have
I
no
would say
idea,
she
man.
would. In fact, I'd say she was as important as Tracy in his early day during those early days, maybe even more so.
100%. Is she still alive? Actually, does
And she's
anyone know?
alive, yes, but I don't know if
Alright.
she's still active in the business.
Yeah, because I haven't heard nothing about the original Trinity since probably back then. She's just disappeared completely.
She went to the WWE version of ECW as part of the FBI and then like disappeared after
Was
that.
she?
Yep,
Okay, interesting. What would they call her there? If so I can
Trinity.
remember.
Trinity.
Oh, she's still the same? Alright. Funny. Alright. I don't remember that. She must have been there for a cup of coffee, literally.
I know she was there in the
They
very
spelled
beginning.
Trinity. All they have to do is put an I on the end, and she can be Italian.
Yeah, exactly. Or an E, maybe. Like
Well, I think she actually
Trinity.
was like a. I think she
Yeah.
actually was like a legit Italian from New York.
Oh, she was? Oh, there you go. Where's my pizza?
It's in the hallway with the rascals.
with the rascals. Mi
Oh no,
scusi.
I'm sorry, Mr. Alexander. I'm sorry. Scusi. Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Mi scusi, Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, whatever. I don't have anything bad to say about Tracy. I don't really have anything bad to say about this match because I didn't pay attention to it.
Hey, you know what, Vet? I don't know why. I kind of like this match.
Well, it's probably
Weird.
because it was like the first match on the show that wasn't
maybe.
weird. Let's see,
No
what
shit.
do we have? We had
Oh yeah,
we had a Feast or Fired match. We had the Desi Hit Squad versus Team 3D. And then this was
Pizza
it.
on the
This is
pole
the third
match?
match. So
Or pizza in the hallway match.
so
pizza in the
Trinity
hallway
actually,
match, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, actually Trinity actually is Italian. Her last name is Finocchio.
Whoa, you know what
Pinocchio.
you know what Finocchio means?
Nope.
In Italian, I better not say it.
All right.
I mean, figure that one out. That's legit. That's weird though, with the last name like that. So it's Finocchio.
Yep.
Wow, I would change that if I was her. But anyway,
No, that's
She did. She changed it to Trinity. So anyway, the reason that you can wonder why certain people are or aren't here could be a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's because they have heat. Sometimes it's because they don't want to be involved. Like maybe people were reached out to and didn't get back to them. And like, nah, not
for sure.
every single wrestler is so pathetic they need to show up for a payday, way out of shape and old looking. So perhaps they
Like
just
Tommy
have better
Dreamer?
things going on than to embarrass themselves by showing up at Impact so they can put a cherry limeade light next to you and stand you next to a wall with your dick in your hand. Like there's lots of reasons why you might not be on the show. So we could take our own picks at which reason it is. Leo rushes with Gia and no music underneath. He's not worried about Chris Sabin, but he should be.
He shook.
Yeah, sure.
Chris Sabin shook. Yep. Well, you'd be shook too if you could punch through a car window.
Real glass.
Yep. Just cry me a river, Jimmy.
Exactly.
All right, then we get a Dreamer promo. The lights are in
dreaming.
this promo too. So Dreamer's there with the lights. You had two things you could throw out in one segment. What did he say? I wasn't listening.
I was dreaming literally while seeing Dreamer.
Okay.
I honestly straight
one
up
ear
do
out the
not
other.
remember.
Yeah, it was one ear out the other. I was watching it, but I was literally in the haze. I was just like,
So here's a peek behind the curtain. All right. This is exactly what happened. I saw Tommy
Okay.
Dreamer come on the screen. I picked up my phone. I started to type on my notes. I started to type Dreamer promo because I want to make the notes for tonight. And by the time I finished typing it, he was done talking and I didn't hear what he said. So
well,
it was that
that
quick.
makes three of us. I mean,
Yeah.
can we pretend what he said? He
And
said
then
he's
I
the digital
thought,
champion.
yeah, and then more behind the curtain. Then I thought maybe I should run it back real quick just to see what he said because it was only a few seconds. And then I was like, life's too short. Let's move on. So we move on to the main event.
I went back and looked at the promo. Apparently, he did kind of refer to himself as Fat Tommy because he said that he needs to leave to get a belt extender to fit his waist.
He did say that?
Yep.
Wow. I really didn't notice that.
Well, yeah, Tommy Dreamer's never been shy about making, reference to what everybody else can already see. In fact, I believe it's Tommy who said there's There's two things I've heard attributed to Tommy Dreamer. One of them Tommy Dreamer said about himself, and the other one someone else said, and I don't remember which is which. But one person, either Tommy or somebody else, said that he has a body like a bag of milk, and the other person, either Tommy or someone else, said that his body is like a melting candle. So I don't remember which one he said and which one the other person said, but you know.
I hope it was the melting
I mean,
candle.
it's pretty
part.
much the same thing.
It's the same thing, but they're both hilarious. I would go with a marshmallow that put on clothes, but
yeah, he's looking bad these days, man.
He says, Lara says, is Tommy still eating over trash cans? No, that was me. I was eating over trash cans. I don't know if for anybody that hasn't heard that story, I was at Sam's Town in Las Vegas, and I was there to see Ring of Honor, and I hadn't eaten anything, so I got off the plane, and then I went to there was a McDonald's in Sam's. So I went to the McDonald's and I got like a chicken sandwich, you know, because I wanted to eat something before I was going to have to sit through this Ring of Honor show. And I'm like hurrying up eating the chicken sandwich, and it's hot. You know, like the chicken sandwich is hot, and I'm still trying to hurry without burning myself. So I go over and I'm like, there's a trash can over there. So I go and I'm like halfway done with the chicken sandwich eating it, and Tommy Dreamer walks by and he looks at me, and like with my mouth full, I give him like the, you know, I tip my chicken sandwich to him, and he gives me the head nod and keeps walking or whatever. So it was like the perfect person to walk by while I'm eating a chicken sandwich over a trash can.
Not even a word spoken. It was just like,
yeah,
who's the chick with the chicken sandwich?
I highly doubt he remembers me from OVW, the times that we, you know, crossed paths there. No, I'm sure you didn't. There's no way. That would have been like 12 years Tommy? Prior. I'm sure he doesn't think that any random person in Las Vegas that he sees is somebody from OVW, whether they're eating a chicken sandwich or not. So, but anyway. Yeah, so Saban versus Rush for the Exhibition Championship. That's
what a main event.
Perfect transition. You know, these guys, one way or another, they pretty much know what they're doing. Now, last week we talked about Lio Rush having an absolutely fantastic match with
Kevin
Knight, and that was really good. But Kevin Knight's not going to tell Lio Rush anything. Chris Sabin's going to have some input on this match, so it's definitely not going to be as good as that one. But you know, yeah, it's still pretty good. I mean, you know, it's good enough. It's a main event for the X Division title.
I can't stand Lio Rush though.
Why not?
It's his personality, man. He's
doing his job then.
No, not in terms of wrestling. I'm talking about in real life. Like,
okay.
How he quits companies, comes back, I retire, then I'm not retired.
You sound like you're following the narrative.
Oh, am I?
Jimmy, yeah. It sounds like you're following the narrative, okay? Yeah. Don't listen to what you hear about Lio Rush, all right? Nobody knows Lio Rush. They're just trying to slaughter his character for whatever reason. Oh, yeah, Lio Rush shouldn't be carrying Mark Henry's bags or anybody else's, all right? So let's not worry about that. Let's just
you don't have to pay your dues, not with him.
Not with him, no. Sorry, he's a 28-year-old piece of gold, all right? So, anyway, yeah, so the match was fine, but, you know, Goldberg 98, gonna get that belt, and everyone comes out to celebrate, you know. At least they didn't all hit their music one at a time. They just all came out at once with no music, so that was good. So Jimmy, despite the fact of not liking Lio Rush, what did you think of this match?
Look,
Jimmy?
The match was okay. Again, one too many near falls, but that's professional wrestling in 2023, especially towards the end. I mean, come on. I mean, is Lio Rush
definitely
like
Chris Sabin professional wrestling in 2023.
Honestly, I can't stand Chris Sabin either. The only times I started liking him was with the Motor City Machine Guns with Shelley. That's about it. But a 41-year-old Sabin is your 10-time, apparently, X Division champion. Mm-hmm. Good for him. 10 times. The perfect 10. But he got it off the perfect little guy. I mean, shouldn't you like showcase your world heavyweight champion in this type of scenario when it comes to your 1000th episode? Oh, but I forgot. This must be 999, correct?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Well, they showcased him earlier. He came out in that thrift store suit and
oh, he did.
was a
And
complete dick
cutting
to Josh
promos
Alexander for no reason. Yeah,
for no reason. I mean, he's a
that's
nice
how you
guy.
showcase
I
your
feel bad.
champion.
That's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. That's how you make money. That's why I'm starting to think: does this company even want to like draw anything? Legit. That's a legit question.
No, the answer is no.
Then have Tommy Dreamy as your digital champion. Have Shelley as your world champion. Bring back Jeff Jarrett. He can become your global champion. Is that back?
Oh, Jimmy.
Can we get that out of like retirement?
Yes.
Is that possible? Is the
Yes.
TNA World Championship still around?
No, but we can bring it back.
Bring it back.
It's on its way back. It's
We can have a new match concept where they have to dig and get the belts out of from the ground, and then you're the champion.
Yep. You'll
First
dig
one
up
that finds
PCO and the TNA championship.
There you go. Exactly. What can we call that?
We can call it the DOA championship. Oh no, that's
DOA.
Santino's.
Oh.
We can call it the
Treasure hunt
No, no.
match.
The treasure hunt match. There you go. Har har. Treasure friggin' match. Yeah. We
All right,
need a
here's the
pirate
map.
group though.
Go find it.
Yeah, that's it. And then this would be an appropriate name. We're getting impact attacked from all angles.
That's right.
Like literally having fits. I mean, why not?
Well, Brandon, what about you? You really praised Leo Rush last week. What'd you think this week?
He did the best he could with what he was kind of given in this situation. He shouldn't have gone under in this. I don't think so anyway.
Right.
I mean, I get it's the 1000th episode. You want to make a moment like, oh, our first ever 10-time X Division champion. I get it. Saban ain't the guy.
Well,
No.
we know this is a stopover for Leo Rush. I mean, he doesn't need Impact. He's just doing this while he's biding his time. The next thing he's going to be on, I think, is he's got a tag match. It's like him and Okada versus somebody else because he's in Chaos. I don't know if you know that, Jimmy, but
What?
Leo Rush is in Chaos, yes.
Why?
Because he is. And he's,
Well-
so he'll be teaming up when, I don't know when that show is, but,
Please remind me so I can watch it.
yep.
Not
It's probably going to be the main event match, too.
awesome. But isn't Orange Cassidy part of Chaos too?
No.
He's
Well,
not. You
maybe.
sure about that? I think he is.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that they just tell Trent whatever they need to tell him to get him to stop calling. Yeah, sure, you're in Chaos, whatever. He ain't
thumbs up.
getting invited on no tours no time soon. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I hope not. But you know
him
what?
and Rocky,
I just-
him and Rocky Romero don't like they, So
Can we get a what do you call it? I've gone blank. God damn it. What's the tag team called again with Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta? Jesus Christ.
the Roppongi Vice.
Roppongi Vice.
Yes,
Can we
no,
get
we
Orange
cannot.
Vice?
No, we can't. No, I'm sorry. Okay.
Why not? Come on.
Because we can't. All right. So on September 30th at Destruction, it's going to be Okada and Leo Rush versus Naito and Hiromu. So there's your main
see
event
that, I
for
see
that. Don't miss it. NJPWWorld.com. Only 999 yen a month.
That's yen, not dollars. Yeah, but it
That's
works
right.
out to be sort of the same thing, right?
Sort of the same. A little bit less
Yeah.
dollars. Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot of things on this this Impact 1000. Very few good things, but we got a lot of things. So some people like Ben Espinoza loved it, found it very entertaining. I guess Jimmy, as a person that doesn't watch Impact regularly, even though this stuff was bad, on the other hand, you have to watch AEW programs. So in that sense, how does this stack up in terms of like just I'm watching this for a couple hours, how entertained am I? Even though you fell asleep. Take
I did
everything
try
into
to rewatch
account
it.
and give me a letter grade.
No shit, man. Look, how do I put this? I was thinking to myself once I watched this, I'm like, what can I say about this show? Like, legit, right? At least with AEW every week, yeah, it's shit. It's pathetic, but it's that pathetic that you've got a lot to talk about, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with this, I almost feel bad because it kind of makes you blank, dude. Like if I can,
It's not bad enough to be cringeworthy, but it's not good enough to talk about.
Like it's hard. That's why I don't know how you guys do it week in week out for real. Because it was, I mean, you guys would have to come up with different concepts like Brandon does at the start of the show, which I don't blame you, because I mean you have to do something like that. Because with this show, I was literally thinking, why do I feel like I don't even know what to say about this show?
Nothing happened.
After watching it again. Right. So, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say? And I feel bad because I really, truly didn't know what to say about it.
It's just a lot of, the show itself was a lot of glad handing. You know, it's like, hey, look how long we survived. And hey, look at all these people that used to work here. And hey, yada, yada, yada. Let's remember better times and not think about too much about the present. Well, yeah, we do have to come up with different things to entertain ourselves, you know, when we're talking about this shit. My creative idea this week was to have you on. So there you go. It's like,
well, thank you. I feel almost guilty. I feel bad because I don't know what to say about the show. But if I had to give it a letter grade, geez, I'll C for confused.
C for confused.
I'm just a little confused. You know, not for cannolis, or pizzas, but confused.
Yeah. Trinity is happy for that.
Need more Moose, but no Moose.
Well, Moose did win a briefcase. If his briefcase has the world championship in it, that's the important thing. Unfortunately, my fear is that his briefcase has the tag team championship match in it, and we're gonna have to see even more of him and Brian Myers and their matching gear and tandem entrance. And the last thing you should do is pair up the best guy in the company with about the worst guy in the company.
Not only that, the guy who signed the deal is going to be there with you how many years? You can depend on him to carry the company because he ain't going anywhere, and he's more than capable of carrying the company.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny? He should have just stayed back in Ring of Honor when he could have, before it became TK's Ring of Honor.
Yeah, where he could have been. Where he could have been in AEW. Yep.
I mean, shit. Has he made an appearance in AEW ever? At least once?
Yes.
He did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he lost to Kenny Omega for the Impact Championship.
I do remember. That's why. I mean, that was during the pandemic era, though, which was pretty bad too. But I do remember that. But they should sign him. But WB don't even sign him. I mean, is he blackballed? I mean, other than
it maybe. I mean, they try to use his past as an excuse, but lots of people have a past and they get excused. Fucking Jimmy Uso has a present, and he still gets to work there, so
Jeff
doesn't
Hardy
really matter. Yeah.
I mean, shit. Yeah, just look, it's weird, man. I want this company to do well. I really do, man, because it'd be funny if they had all this momentum and actually went ahead of AEW. I would pop to that, but we need some things that make sense. We don't need to see a program starting because two guys were eating pizzas and one guy was walking past telling him to cut it out. I mean, what the hell?
That's something I expect to see in AEW.
Right, exactly. That's something you would see in AEW. I mean, literally, you probably would. But at least with AEW, it's that much of a train wreck, you can just laugh at the whole show. And you want to give him shit, you know what I mean? You just want to, because the AEW marktards are in denial, you know what I mean? They're convinced that this show and this company, the best since sliced bread.
Every wrestling company fan, if you're just a fan of a company in general, everybody's like that. There's people that are Impact fans that act like that.
I don't see them as much compared to AEW ones.
Yeah, because there aren't any. But I'm just saying, the ones that are there, they'll tell you they love it. They really love it.
Shit, man.
I mean, people like, you know, there was when I was doing the turn off the lights hashtag, some random person decided they wanted to criticize me for criticizing them. Like, who are you to criticize Impact Wrestling? It's like, wow, you guys do have fans? Like, you have guard dogs even? Do you have Twitter guard dogs?
Guard dogs, Twitter guard dogs. Hashtag guard dogs, Twitter guard. Impact dogs. Is that a thing now?
People will just if you post anything, they search hashtags or whatever and go like comment on any post that randomly. Why do you think there would be any random comments on other people's comments that they don't know? It's because people are like looking for fights. They're picking fights on social media.
Maybe that's why Alex Shelley is dressed up like that. He's an impact dog.
Yeah. Instead of a reservoir dog, he's an impact dog. Fun fact, though, and this is a growing up Jimmy T sort of thing. The suburb that I grew up in was called Reservoir. Does that make me a reservoir dog? Just saying.
Maybe.
Oh, wow.
If you existed.
That.
If you exist.
Well, that's another story.
It would make
altogether.
you one, but you don't, so it doesn't.
Can I be like the 100th person that woofs as a wrestling gimmick? Oof.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
That you can.
Actually,
You
I'm
can.
a seal, not a wolf or a dog.
No, a trained seal.
A trained
If you
seal.
you
I
clap your hands and you clap your hands and do podcasts for the PWC.
That's
All right. Well, where else can everybody find you, Jimmy?
You can find me on the Twitter or the X at DJ MassFX and also at the PWC Network. Like and subscribe right here at channelattitude.com, where for $5 you get the best talk in all of wrestling, and hummingmediagroup.podbean.com, pwcnetwork.podbean.com for all the rest of our shows. But like I said, man, you can find me every week on Channel Attitude with the Smack Attack, which goes for record-breaking hours every week. I mean, we've gone from 3 to 4, possibly next week. And then after the collision, what do?
We sift through the wreckage.
The wreckage, exactly.
That's right.
So, and also Uncaged, you can find me for that on channelattitude.com.
Can we? Can we find it? Or
I did it. I didn't go live. You know why? As a matter of fact,
it's a
because
tape. It was taped like it was Rampage Uncaged 1000.
Yeah.
You taped it, and you're gonna do multiple episodes, right?
You know, the catchphrase is usually uncensored, unhinged, uncaged. Well, not in this case. It was censored. It was edited. It was uncaged. But no shit. The only reason why I didn't go live is because, one, I felt bad when we were live for Bin, when Bin jumped on.
Oh, fuck him. He knows what time
I felt
it is.
bad. I felt
That's
bad.
our scheduled time, and he jumped in on it.
That's true. That's the first time we did that. And second of all, you were live. You were doing with your Twitch, so I didn't want to get the listeners jumping over and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I thought of you, Vet. I thought of you, man. But I had to get the show done, so I done it via recording. We've done an Impact, no live here, first time.
That's right. All right, so we're good. So you can find Jimmy everywhere he said. DJ Mass Effects,
exactly.
PWC Network, everything. Brandon, final thoughts on the show grade, and where can they find you?
Oh man, I'd give this one a 3 out of 10.
Ooh, it's definitely
Yeah, I'm sorry that opening segment, you took a quarter of your show right there and flushed it down the toilet.
That was a 30 out of 10.
So wait, we go numbers instead of
well, you could grade it however you want. I'm just saying, if you do a 3 out of 10, that's a 33%. That's an F. That's a fucking F.
You got a 33% chance.
Yeah. You take my 56 and 2/3 chance. Yeah, and then you got a no chance in hell of getting a good grade on this show. All right, a 3 out of 10. And where can everybody find the 10 out of 10 Brandon, How to Kill a Half Hour?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at TransArchistTia, as well as twitch.tv/Miss Tia the Transarchist, and Substack at HMG Brandon.
All right. You can find me at Opinion Haver on all the places that you can find me at Opinion Haver. You can find me on twitch.tv/Opinion Haver. Or you can find me on Twitter or X at Opinion Haver, or Instagram at Opinion Haver, or many, many places at Opinion Haver. That's right. You're fired, Jimmy. Sorry. You can definitely find me every Wednesday with Big Ray Hernandez for Next Level Wrestling Review, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find me here every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern if you want to join us live. You can usually find me on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Wreckage, which is our collision show. And I'll just pop up any other place. I feel like it's, always a fun, it's like whack-a-mole. Where's the vet's going to pop up? And then you hit me on the head with a soft mallet to put me back down. And then, so like Wrestling with Rip Rogers, you may not see me on there, but you'll probably hear me referenced on there as they talk about me every week. And you can check out Stevie Richards Fitness and Stevie Richards Wrestling Analysis. Tons of content on his Patreon and YouTube, including why the lockup is so important and the most important part of any wrestling match. That's his most recent video. And all kinds of things like breaking down Goldberg kicking Bret Hart in the head, not Chris Sabin, the actual Goldberg, and many other things. So check out Stevie Richards, and that's everything for me and everyone else. So for Jimmy T, for Brandon, I'm the vet, and I don't have a sign-off line.